Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Morning Update. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. We're getting some really great interviews, and I'm really excited. You guys have been seeing this story come through of resilience and artistry coming together to board up and put art at Jade Garden Restaurant. So we have the photographer behind the entire effort right here in the studio to give us some updates on how that got put together and some other updates on, unfortunately, some other property that also needs some help. So we have Keoke Silvano in the building. Keoke, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I'm really excited because we've been seeing the resilience. I mean, this story has been getting a lot of traction. We did an article on it. We also have it running kind of as a commercial, really, for our show. So we want to hear, how did this effort start and how did you get involved?
I never intended for it to be like this. I just knew that something needed to be done. And I was actually driving home and I saw, passing by Jade Garden, I saw that they were boarding up their windows. So I just stopped and talked to the owner and said, hey, what's going on? I thought they were closing down because that if they have to close their restaurant, that creates a huge different impact to our community. So he told me that somebody had broken some windows, they vandalized the restaurant, and they were boarding it up. And I know that from past history, if a warehouse looks empty or a house is abandoned, people usually come in and they start tagging it and they start putting graffiti on there. So I thought it was important to have some artists come by and put some murals up, so that way the space looked like it was still being used, and to prevent further vandalism as well.
Amazing. And then what we saw, and our audience didn't get to see it, but we had the time-lapse video of this work being done. So did you just reach out to artists that you know in your network? I mean, how did that happen?
Kind of. I just made a post, took some pictures, and then made a post about it, and did a general call out saying that I think it would be great if we have artists that are able to donate their time to painting the boards. And so one of my colleagues at Summit Sierra High School, they ended up, their husband is a professional painter and artist, and so they got together a collective of artists that they know, and they came by, and immediately within 30 minutes they came and looked at the restaurant. They came up with some ideas. We didn't leave the area till about 7 o'clock that night. It was Friday night, and then Saturday morning we just started getting to work, and they started getting to work. I just took pictures, and so it was just a beautiful thing to be a part of.
You know what I promise you, COVID has got all of us making adjustments. You'll probably hear me say that time and time again during this time. But one of the things that I'm loving during this time is the community resilience. To think that you are able to put a social post out there and it brings about that swell of love. We heard from the inside that it was one point you were getting too many responses. Was that the case?
Yes, there was a lot of different artists who wanted to participate, and that's great. But my worry is also because the owner had a vision for what they wanted on the boards. There are certain things that they couldn't have on the boards, and so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just about the artist, but I wanted to make sure that the owner was happy with what was going on the exterior, because that's what their clients are going to see.
Yeah.
And so the artists, they've been working in the trade for about 20 years. One is a professional painter, another one is a fine art, and does fine arts, and also works for a company that does sportswear, and so they're all graphic designers or painters, and so and some of them have even been laid off from their positions. And one of the artists, who is down in Tacoma, he drove up with his wife just to donate his time, his expertise, and professional expertise to the project. So it was just a beautiful thing to see and be a part of.
It really is. And it takes me into, some of the unfortunate part. I heard that you were called again. Maybe there was another property, another business that was vandalized?
Well, there's actually, after seeing Jade Garden, I walked around Chinatown, and there was Chinese Noodle House, which is on 12th and Jackson. Somebody broke their window, and I walked up further up Jackson, and I think there's an Aikido place. It's a dojo, and it's on 18th, and it looked like somebody had broken out their window as well. And then just on Sunday, someone broke into the iHouse. It's a salon on 12th, and so I saw a post that someone broke into their salon and stole a lot of stuff out of the salon and vandalized the salon. So I went and found a contractor, and the contractor, he said that he'll donate some of it, his labor, to putting up security gates and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So, and then Fogon's on Capitol Hill, they had windows that were broken as well. So it's not just, now I'm finding out it's not just Chinatown. It's in a lot of different areas, and Capitol Hill and downtown and Chinatown, and so it's really impacting a lot of business owners.
Yeah. How does it feel for you as you pulled that, effort together for Jade Garden, and you're hearing about these other, businesses that are being impacted in this way? What does that mean for you? I mean, are you thinking, okay, now I know this, I've kind of started something. I mean, are you trying to help the other restaurants? What's the, moving forward look like for you?
Well, I've been just making a point to try to take pictures of restaurants that are still working, still providing the service to the community, because I know that there is a lot of people who are unable to cook, whether if they're elderly or if they're disabled or for whatever reason. So I think it's really important that we know who is open, so that way people have options. Also to support the restaurants themselves, because a lot of the restaurants are now just ran by the owners. Jade Garden's owner, his hours went from 9 hours a week to 14 hours, 9 hours a day to 14 hours a day, and that's 7 days out of the week, just to make sure that they keep the restaurant afloat and being a service. He's also making deliveries to all around the city, as well as to Sammamish, to make sure that residents are getting their meals. So I'm just trying to let people know this is here are the services. There's COVID testing over there at ICHS in the International District, and making sure that people are aware that these things are available to them. So if they need to get testing or if they need food, they know they have options beyond just what is in their immediate range.
Yeah. So Keoke, I know you're a photographer too. We want to make sure people know how they can reach out to you. How can people find you as a photographer?
They can find me on Instagram. It's Keoke Silvano Photography, Keoke Silvano, S-I-L-V as in Victor, A-N-O, photography, all one word.
Okay.
And they'll be able to see some of my work there, or as well, and Facebook as well, underneath Keoke Silvano.
Well, Keoke, I really thank you for this effort. I thank you for spotlighting it. For any artists out there, that can give their time, maybe look into this. I think that what you guys did and what you just putting a post out and coming from the heart with it was super, super organic, right? And that's the efforts that really need to happen right now. I think a lot of us are, trying to see, well, what is the government going to do? But it's really from the community, and it's the resilience of the community. We're right here, we're neighbors. So I love that you did that. Thank you so much for doing that. And also spotlighting the other places that had some issues, because maybe this might help to bring some awareness to those businesses as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not just about individuals hurting. We're all hurting. Our families are hurting. We have we all know somebody that's been impacted by COVID. And so this, I hope, just brings a little bit of hope and sanity back to our community, so that way we are able to work through this together as a community.
Agreed, Keoke. I can't agree with you more. Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I want to make sure that people know if you guys are a business and you've been heavily impacted during COVID in terms of vandalism, in terms of, your businesses having to shut down, we want to still be a source for you. We want you to be able to know you guys can reach out to us, come on here, share your story. There may be someone watching that may be able to help you or benefit what you have going on. So we want to offer that as a service to our community members. We do have to stick together, Keoke. I agree with you there. So thanks again for being with us and bringing some light to these issues.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me once again.
Absolutely. You guys, stay tuned. We'll be back.